There is a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
There are.
The Epstein thing, you dealt with Maria, you said, as far as you know, he killed himself.
I'm telling you, he killed himself.
Now, more than ever before, I do not believe that he killed himself. Now, in an interview with Brett Baier that was just released, FBI Director Kash Patel doubled down on his assertion that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, that there's nothing shady going on here. Now, when he initially made that statement with Dan Bongino right next to him and agreeing with him, there was some backlash from Republican voters who think, no, something fishy is going on here. Well, Patel also told the American people that they shouldn't expect the Epstein files to be released anytime soon, despite the fact that Attorney General Pam Bondi stated that she had them on her desk ready to go months ago. Here's the clip.
The other thing on the internet is the Epstein files. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever, but I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it. So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that, and it takes time to go through years of investigations, years of political maneuvering, and years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve. And that's what I'm gonna give them on everything.
Now, Cenk, before I go to you, I just want to remind the audience that this follows the hostage video featuring Dan Bongino and Kash Patel from earlier. And if you happen to miss that, here's what I'm talking about.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I don't believe them. What do you think, Cenk?
Yeah, they're definitely lying. Why do I say that? Look, guys, we've been over this. Just because the government says something doesn't mean that the opposite is a conspiracy theory. What the government is putting out could be the conspiracy theory, such as Lee Harvey Oswald shooting JFK and 3 other people with 1 shot from frickin' Alaska. That's a conspiracy theory, okay? Jack Ruby, a mobster who hated JFK, killing Lee Harvey Oswald out of patriotism in one day. That's a conspiracy theory, okay? So in this case, we couldn't have done it any better on the Young Turks. We said on the day of, if the video camera in the hallway isn't working, they killed him. If it is working, it was a suicide. We said it ahead of time, okay? It wasn't working. If the guards were mysteriously out and his roommate had just been moved and his neck is broken in 3 places and the video camera isn't working, the conspiracy theory is that he committed suicide. The actual theory is that he was killed. And so if you're gonna say the outlandish thing that, a series of remarkable coincidences happened with the guy that was that needed to be the most protected inside a US prison, right? You're gonna have to have overwhelming proof that he committed suicide. They have presented 0 proof that he committed suicide, none. All they said is, like the previous administrations, like the Biden administration, we would like to tell you that just trust us. Don't worry, I'm Kash Patel, I would never lie to you. Don't worry, I'm Dan Bongino, I would never lie to you. Yeah, I don't believe you at all. Yes, you would lie to us. Yes, every administration so far has lied to us about this. And look, at this point, so that stuff is rock solid. That's for sure. And so if you're gonna come and tell us, no, don't sweat it, don't sweat it. You better come in with a mountain of evidence. And now all of a sudden he's saying, the Epstein files. It's gonna take a long time for us to put them in a shape where you're allowed to see them. Yeah, of course it is, because you're gonna doctor the living crap out of them. If you don't need to doctor them, you could put them out right away. Oh, they're like, oh, well, the innocent names are on there. How long does it take to redact the documents? A week maximum. You cross out all of the names of the victims. I could do it in a day. You don't need months and months and years to get those files in a place where you're allowed to see them. Okay, right. And now I'm gonna say the thing that is not proven, but all of the circumstantial evidence points to. Israel, they are the only thing on planet Earth that will get both Republican Party and the Democratic Party to say, oh no, yeah, sure, of course, no, he didn't kill himself. No, I swear, you gotta trust me. No, I swear, it wasn't Israel. Yeah, sure. Come on, if it's the Democrats, the Republicans would out them in a second. If it was the Republicans, the Democrats would out them in a second. The only thing that they both serve is Israel. The brother, already there was rumors that he was working with Mossad. Did he tape those instances with incredibly powerful people? Yes, there's excellent evidence that he taped them. And then, oh golly gee, I wonder what you would do with the tape. You would blackmail, use it for blackmail. I'm saying it out loud because it's so goddamn obvious, okay? So if you want to catch feelings about how obvious it is, yeah, go to somewhere else, man. I'm not interested in your horse crap, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. So right now, unless they release them right now, and it shows that it was someone else, I think the fair assumption for everyone was that he was a Mossad agent who was using it to blackmail our politicians.
Yeah, so there were reports of him working with Mossad and the CIA, and that he carried out this massive blackmail operation. So that's the theory. And regardless of what anyone feels, regardless of how offended someone might be by us describing why these conspiracy theories are percolating, your feelings don't matter. These conspiracy theories exist. A lot of people believe them. And the behavior of our federal government, regardless of who's in charge, only fuels those theories more, right? When you have these, non-establishment right-wingers in Trump's administration who made a big stink about the Epstein files prior to their big positions of power in Trump's cabinet, suddenly turning around and saying the exact opposite once they're in those positions of power, it makes you wonder, like, what kind of conversations are happening behind the scenes? Why is it that someone like Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted not once, but twice? Remember the first one, he got that sweetheart deal. You don't get prosecuted unless there's evidence against you. Why can't we see the evidence? Why can't we see what type of powerful people, what kind of American politicians were involved in, these trips to Epstein's Island? So there are too many questions that have gone unanswered. And what I've seen demonstrated by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino only raises more questions, because they were these tough guys who were gonna out all of these nasty politicians who might have been caught up in this alleged blackmail scheme. And now they're just totally changing the script.
Yeah, and I want to remind people of two quick things here. One is, when Epstein was first busted in Florida, a federal prosecutor gave him the cushiest sentence of all time, where he could go and work during the day. So that means he was just at home, could do whatever he wanted. He was totally free, could go anywhere. And at night he would come into the hotel, which is this nice so-called jail that they had in Palm Beach, right? And so it was, and that's for rape of underage girls. Okay, so it was an insane lack of sentencing. You know what happened to that guy? Rando prosecutor in Miami. He became the Secretary of Labor under Trump in the first term. Secretary of Labor, he didn't even have anything to do with labor. But all of a sudden you get a cabinet position if you let Epstein slide. And then everybody goes into the administration, whether Democrat or Republican, and they go from skeptic to, oh no, I swear it wasn't Israel. I swear, no, it was definitely a suicide. Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, all right, I got it. And so no way, I don't believe any of them. They're huge liars. If I went in the government and I came out and said that Epstein committed suicide, you know what I would do? I would list all of the evidence for you. I would say, look, I didn't believe it. And then I looked at the evidence, and here's the evidence, and I'm making it public. Here's the reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 why I think he committed suicide. What I wouldn't do is just trust me, bro. Okay, oh yeah, the powerful people that are still hiding the Epstein files, that's okay, I checked in with them. And they say it's cool, bro. No, it's not cool, bro, okay? It's not cool at all. And now you're part of the scumbags who are hiding the Epstein files, very likely on behalf of a foreign government.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.